Why do you think you got into Harvard? What would the answer be?
I would say I probably got into Harvard because I was very well-rounded. I had done a lot of different things in high school, ventured into lots of different fields, or had done a lot of different activities, and sort of tried to I'd shown the admissions committee that I tried to make the most out of my high school experience, and so they probably trusted that I would do the same for college. Second thing, it always helps, I think, if you can distinguish yourself in some way, and that could even just be where you're from, right? Your own backstory. And for me, being an international student from Austria, which oftentimes doesn't send any students to Harvard in a given year, is in and of itself something that makes you stand out in a way.
From an objective standpoint, for one, I was a recruited athlete, so I think obviously that was a kind of like part that explains it. I am a student from France. I think we don't have a lot of people from there, and I was pretty young when I applied, so I think it was just a bunch of kind of unique traits, or like a combination of things that could have brought me here. I don't really like to throw myself flowers, but if I had to be kind of like nicer to myself and try to think, okay, in terms of values, or maybe what the people from admissions think I could bring to this institution, I would say it's my deep passion and involvement in everything I do, and my commitment and want to be more than just a scientist or a tech person, but really kind of impact people around me in meaningful ways that go beyond just the actual field that I want to be working in or I want to be studying in.
I think I had a good story. And like not necessarily in terms of like family background and like overcoming some challenge, which I think a lot of people do have really powerful testimonies of what they've overcome in order to like get to the point of applying to Harvard. I think I knew the things that I excelled at, and I did a very good job of sort of framing why I was able to excel there. Like, I think I did a lot of leadership things. I was, like president of a number of organizations. I, was a captain of track, and like, I know in my essays, what came across was how my passion translates into leadership and like caring about people. Like I talked about research, I talked about track in like my essays for college, and I know like probably one of the things that shined through is that I did a lot of things. I spent a lot of time on all these checkbox things, but like I cared a lot about leading people, that responsibility, and like thinking about what is the impact of what I'm doing on the people that I'm engaging with in the process, or that my work might impact. I do think that's something that came across in my essays that like I think a lot of people applied to Harvard that had really excellent.
Okay, I remember in my freshman year there was this possibility where you could see your application and see what the notes of the admissions officer were for your specific application. Honestly, myself, I was just scared, so I didn't go to see my application. But I think I have an idea why I got in. So just by comparing myself to other Moldovans who applied in the same year, I think that what Harvard does is that they do take into account the environment where you come from and the amount of possibilities that environment offers for your growth and how you took advantage of those resources. And I think that one thing that I was good at is just, okay, so obviously I included the aspect that I come from a third world country. Obviously I didn't have many resources to grow, but I made the most of it. And I think that just bringing that personal perspective in my application was very important for them to realize that we're not talking about the US anymore. We're talking about a different country where people are different. So I think that's what got me.
I don't think there's one reason. Obviously, I did well in high school in terms of grades. I had interesting extracurriculars, but I guess I'd say I put effort into writing my essays and trying to make myself come through in my writing and like my personality and me. I'm sure you've seen that people will say that getting into top colleges is not just about what you are on paper, it's about like how you can make yourself come alive as a person.
I know what I like about myself, but I don't know what they like about me. I'm trying to look into the college file this semester, but I haven't done that. But
I thought a lot about this, especially my summer between high school and coming here, and then also a lot in freshman year. And I think, one of the reasons why I think I got into Harvard was that I was sort of honest in my essays, that I wasn't coming from a super like academic background. I mean, I did all the sort of activities, but not like some of my other peers here.
To be very honest, what I do know is that I had access to many wonderful people and networks and opportunities and resources that have allowed me to be privileged enough to even have a shot at applying here. Even the application process itself is very, very, I think, very difficult and really hard to find, especially for international students who may not have as many resources as domestic American citizens here. And that's something that I truly feel that I was very blessed with in Japan.
So maybe one thing I'll start off with, I think just practically speaking, honestly, I think Harvard tries to fill out its student body with a diverse group of people and people that they think each bring something to the table or to the student. This total pool of individuals of different backgrounds and accomplishments, right? Because there's so many people who have done incredible things and are definitely qualified to attend Harvard. So I think maybe along that line, something that maybe set me apart a little bit at least was one, just physically, like being from Winnipeg, Canada, right? Like a place where very few people come to Ivy League schools, let alone Harvard, right? So I think just having that, someone from that location, that definitely would have helped distinguish a little bit. So that's maybe one thing. And then a couple other things are just the activities themselves that I was into, I think were things that aren't super common. So I was involved in music a lot in high school. So as part of that, I really enjoyed playing like a couple instruments mostly, right? I played tuba a lot in band and concert bands and orchestras, and then I played bass guitar as well in jazz bands and concert bands as well.
So that is a very hard question, and I think it's really hard to know for sure. But if I had to guess, I think that I came across in my application as being very hardworking and just very passionate about science in general. So I believe that maybe that played a role, and that's why I'm here today.